Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. So I got some things I definitely wanted to talk about tonight, so I figured I'll hop on here and I'll do a live show and really get my thoughts out, and also hopefully give an opportunity for whoever pops in to listen to the show and call in if they want to. But before we do that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. What's going on, everybody? So thanks for popping in. Sneed, what's up, my man? Been looking out for you. Haven't seen you in the last few lives, but good to see you back in the chat, man. So if you're coming in, please, as I just mentioned in my little blurb there, make sure you're hitting that like button. It really helps us out a lot. And make sure you hit that share too. Share it out to other people you know that love sports talk and might want to hop in and add something to the chat or hear what I got to say. But you know what? Let's go ahead and let's get right to it, man. This one I thought was interesting. It kind of just popped up across my timeline, so I wanted to touch on it briefly. And yeah, let me give my thoughts on it, and then that'll be it for the night. Okay, so James Harden and Kobe Bryant. So I recently this came across my timeline, as I mentioned. Saw this article from FadeAwayWorld.net, and it said that James Harden has Kobe Bryant as the GOAT for him. And so this gets back to, obviously the GOAT debate, which for whatever reason, many people think is between LeBron and Michael Jordan. And I can't fathom why that is, or why that is supposedly between those two. And I keep getting back to it. For me, there's other guys that should be in there. It should be Kareem. It should be Magic. Um, and obviously Kobe. But, how it's been built up over these years is LeBron and Michael Jordan. And again, the question is how Kobe got skipped is just beyond me. But James Harden is another one of the players that has Kobe as the greatest of all time. And so here was his comment from the article. So I thought it was kind of interesting that it was less about basketball and more about feeling, but we'll get to that in a bit. So James Harden says, quote, "There was only one person who made me fall in love with the game, and that's Kobe Bryant. Being from LA and being a Lakers fan, watching him grow up and win several championships, and his passion and his love and what he did for this game of basketball, I think the world, feels the same way. But that's why I started playing basketball. The skill set and things that I've learned, I kind of picked up on my own. But as far as falling in love with the game, it's definitely been Kobe." So I respect that. When James Harden says he's got Kobe as his GOAT, it seems to be more sentimental, and he's talking more about how Kobe made him feel about the game of basketball. So I respect that, and I'm sure maybe there are some guys who feel that way about LeBron. I think what's this guy's name? Jason Timpf. He does a podcast. I think it's called Hoops Tonight. It's on the Volume Podcast Network, and he actually like breaks down X's and O's a lot. And he says he feels that way about LeBron. LeBron made him love the game. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So, it's different players inspire different feelings in people. Like me, you guys know Hakeem Olajuwon is my favorite player of all time. I say it all the time. I loved the way that guy played, but I loved basketball before I loved Dream. So I don't think there's any one player that made me love basketball. I love the game. And then, you see the players that you love, or you love the way they played, and you become a fan of those guys. So it's always interesting to me when I hear people talk about how a particular player made them fall in love with the game. So that's interesting. But I guess that also speaks to what that player could do in terms of their artistry as a player, and how it made people feel. So I remember years ago, it's on, if you go look up NBA Superstars 1, that was a compilation of videos, and each player had a song or whatever. and it was like a highlight reel on the song. And at the beginning, Magic Johnson, his song was "I Will Remember You." I think it's by Patty Austin. And so at the beginning, he says, "You play this game for three reasons: to win, to have fun, and to make people happy." And so when I hear James Harden talking about how Kobe made him feel, it makes me flash back. I can see Magic smiling and I can hear him say it in that NBA Superstars video. And so that's really cool. So I kind of get uh the inspiration that you get from different players and how it makes you feel, because to this day I'll watch Larry Bird highlights or Magic Johnson highlights or Hakeem Olajuwon or Michael Jordan or whoever, Charles Barkley, and I'm just like, man, it stirs something within me because that was my formative time as a basketball fan. But anyway, getting back to the topic, to me this is really interesting because this is yet another really good to great player that doesn't just hop over Kobe for LeBron in the GOAT debate. So remember, Shaq, who most people has as the top 10 player of all time, maybe top 5 or 6 center of all time, depends on who you are and how you have him rated, but he's right in there. He always makes it a point to say, don't forget Kobe. Like, he doesn't understand either how in this GOAT debate people just skip right over Kobe and leave him out, right? And so James Harden, for a lot of people, is an all-time great player and a top 10 shooting guard of all time. I guess we could argue that. I would have to go down the list. He might be, he might not be. I'm really not sure I agree with that. But the point is, he had an incredible stretch with the Houston Rockets. James Harden, for a while, he was pretty special. He could do it. And so you watch this guy, and it was amazing the stuff that he was doing, which I'm just like, wow. I used to watch, and I'm like, how is this dude cooking people like this? I never could figure it out, but obviously he was doing it. And he's another one who was sneaky athletic in his prime. He could dunk on you. Look, he just caught Draymond right there. He could put you in the rim in his prime. He was sneaky athletic. But yeah, so James Harden, he could handle, he could pass, he could shoot, he could score. Now, a lot of that had to do with Mike D'Antoni's system. Mike D'Antoni's system made Jeremy Lin go off, right? I mean, a lot of people can go off in that system, but at the same time, he still had to put the ball in the basket all those times, right? There's no system that could put the rock in the hole for you. So while the system can make it easier for you to find yourself in positions to do it, that was a crazy move right there. If you when you watch this, behind the back through the legs. Whoop, gotcha. That was pretty good. But yeah, so yeah, James Harden, man, he was special when he was at his best. So regardless of what I think or where I rank him or don't rank him, he was a heck of a player. So now Harden is a guy who what? He played against LeBron for his entire career. He played against Kobe for many years, right? He did all this. So I'll say this, thinking about it and thinking about his commentary, he might be kind of biased growing up in California and watching Kobe with the Lakers, but even still playing against both, I think that it's pretty interesting that he clearly chooses Kobe as the GOAT. Now, again, a lot of that might be emotional, but here's the questions you have to ask when it comes to that discussion. Why do so many people who played against Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, or even against just Kobe and LeBron, put LeBron last out of all three? Why does that keep happening? If LeBron is supposed to be what Clutch Sports tells you and what LeBron tells you, why does that keep happening? Now, I know you LeBron fanboys are already breathing hard and getting upset, and you already call me a hater and light up my comments with all types of whatever, and that's cool. Hey, I love the interaction. I appreciate you, but don't get upset at me, right? Get upset at those players who are putting Kobe above your boo. Not me. I'm not the one doing it. Well, I am doing it. I'm doing it too because I do believe Kobe is better than LeBron. But get upset at those players, right? Since I don't know what I'm talking about because I never played and I'm just old head hater. Talk to those guys who played, right? They don't know what they're talking about either, right? So I get it. LeBron, he wins the stats argument if you're having this debate. I get it. But he doesn't win the winning argument, even though he played with more help. That's the other thing we got to look at. He had more help and he won less. Like, I don't know how we keep discarding that or just disavowing that. So let's do this. What about the eye test? What about the eye test? Anyone who just watches Kobe and LeBron can clearly see who is the more skilled player. I'm gonna show you some Kobe stuff here. And you can't tell me that LeBron can do this. So we look at this right here. I love this is just an effort play. Now we know LeBron can do this. We know he can do the chase down block. But if you listen to Nick Wright and everybody, LeBron is the only one who's ever done a chase down block. But just look at Kobe's skill set. Look at how easily he split that trap right there. So Shaq comes out to set the pick. They get off the pick and they try to blitz him, and he just split the trap easily. Kobe, monster in the mid range. LeBron can't say that. Kobe, monster with the footwork. Beautiful. Just beautiful what he's doing. Just look at this guy. Like LeBron don't have any of this stuff in his speaking of LeBron, gotcha. LeBron doesn't have this stuff in his arsenal. And has he had an incredibly great career? Yes, there's no question about it. But I can't see how anybody who says that they know basketball can look at LeBron and say he's better. Like it just doesn't add up. Like, what are you watching? Like, look at what Kobe was doing. Deadly in the mid-range, better in the post, footwork far superior, just as good in the clutch, if not better. I think LeBron and Kobe are both tied with 8 buzzer beaters all time in their careers. And they played around the same amount of time, right? Kobe had a better handle. Kobe was a better man-on defender. And again, he didn't try to cheat the game. That's what we keep getting back to. He didn't try to cheat the game. So when you go back and you look at what Kobe has accomplished in his career, you look at how hard he worked on his game, right? Because LeBron, he works tremendously hard on his body, right? We know that. But Kobe worked on his body and his game to become the best player he possibly could be. He maximized his skill set to become pretty much unguardable. Can we say that about LeBron? Now, LeBron is so physically gifted that most people can't, deal with him, his strength and his speed. But the skill set being unguardable, nah. Then when people said that Kobe rode Shaq's coattails to the first 3 chips, which is a lie, just go do the research. I don't have to tell you. He said, okay, cool. It's me or Shaq. I'll prove I don't need him, right? So Shaq gets sent out and he makes 3 more trips to the finals and he wins 2 more championships. He didn't have another top 50 or top 75 teammate. That's a fact. He didn't go try to load up and build an all-star team. That's a fact. He forced the Lakers to give him a little bit of help and he got busy and he got 3 more trips to the finals and 2 more titles. That has to mean something. It has to. There's now what we call the Mamba mentality. When it comes to King James, there's only LeBron liability. I mean, it is what it is, right? I think we can all agree that Anthony Davis is better than Pau Gasol, right? Even though Gasol at his peak was pretty good. But I think we can agree that Anthony Davis is better than Pau Gasol, right? Kobe didn't have an Anthony Davis. He had a Pau Gasol, but he won with him. So we keep getting back to the basics here. Kobe did not have the help that LeBron James did. He did not. He didn't. But somehow he still was better and still won more. Ray Allen has Kobe ahead of LeBron, and he played with and against both, right? Well, he played with LeBron in his peak. He played against LeBron at his peak. He played against peak Kobe, and he played against Michael Jordan at the end of his prime. But yet, Ray Allen, when asked about his all-time starting 5, he has LeBron coming off the bench. How? He's an old head hater, right? He don't know because he didn't play. Oh, he did. He's a Hall of Famer. My bad. Right? Okay. Grant Hill played against all 3 of them. He played against prime Michael Jordan, right? He doesn't have LeBron ahead of Kobe or Mike. Vince Carter, he asked the question, why isn't Kobe mentioned in the debate? And he played against all 3, right? He played against MJ at the end of his prime. He played against Kobe and LeBron in their primes. He's got LeBron behind the other 2. We can do this all night. We can do this all night, but you should be getting the point by now. When you take shortcuts like LeBron did, no matter how many numbers you put up, right? No matter how many stats you try to stack, no matter how much you try to manipulate the media, those who know. Kobe was playing to win, and his constant pursuit of winning is what made him so great, just like Michael Jordan. And other guys saw that, and James Harden is one of those guys. All right, so that's the end of this topic. And before we get out of here, if anybody wants to call in, give your thoughts on James Harden having Kobe as his greatest player of all time, or give your thoughts on anything we talked about tonight, I'd love to hear it. So I'm gonna hang on here for a couple of minutes, and if I don't get any calls, then I'll let you go. But yeah, you're free to call 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. All right, team. Well, looks like we're not going to be taking any calls for the rest of the night, or no one's calling in. I should say. I would take them if somebody was calling. But listen, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate your feedback, your interaction. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you're sharing the show. Make sure you're coming back. We'll be back again. What, Saturday night for the next one? Looking forward to it. And I'm out. Peace.